That was quite the climb. If you want to know where I'm at, you'll have to join me at the top and see what I get to see. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm at the top of the world. Not really. I just came up here to survey how much snow is still sitting on top of the woodshed. That's really it. Yesterday the temperatures warmed up and all the snow came sliding down, and yeah, so I took a walk around the property and I noticed some things as I was out here. One of the first things that I noticed was there really hasn't been very much wildlife on the property this winter. I did see some tracks just behind me here in the trees. I can't tell what they are, probably a lynx. And then I just saw one paw print, to be honest with you. I really haven't heard the birds or the squirrels for at least the last month. And for the first time this morning, I got to hear them. And I heard some wolves or coyotes way off in the distance. If you listen closely, you can hear two things. The river behind me coming back to life. And coyotes or wolves. They're too far off for me to really tell which one they are. I also think that spring is right around the corner because the trees are starting to bud out. And those buds are swollen and green. So they'll be leafing out sooner rather than later. Oh my goodness, it won't be long and it will be summertime here. I know this is a false spring and there are many more storms on the way, but I'm going to take it while I can get it. But now I'm looking at those storm clouds over my shoulder, and I need to get ready because I'm going to meet up with some of my neighbors, and I'm going on a little field trip, and I'm going to bring you along for the ride. So, see you on the road. I believe that orb in the sky is the sun, but it's been so long since I've seen it, I can't honestly remember. Nonetheless, we stopped off at an antique store so I could do some furniture shopping because I need to get some chairs for my cabin. And unfortunately, these Chippendale chairs just aren't exactly the right fit. But let's see what else we can find. This table saw caught my eye. It was patented in the 1800s, but I'm pretty sure this one is from around early 1900s. And can you imagine cutting a piece of hardwood on this thing using only a foot pedal or a hand crank to do so? Not only was I looking for some chairs for the dining room, I was also looking for an antique ice box. As I mentioned, I'd like to build one, but I wouldn't be opposed to buying one either. I didn't actually wind up buying anything this go around, but there were definitely things that caught my eye, and hopefully they'll be there later this summer. But we got more errands to run, so off we go. After a day on the town, we decided that we should probably grab a bite to eat before heading back across the state, and so we stopped at the Palmer Ale House. I, however, am still not comfortable filming in public or in front of other people, so hence why you just get the quick snapshot of my meal. Maybe someday I'll get there. So the trip into Anchorage was a lot of fun. Some of it was unexpected. I was really thankful that my neighbors were heading into town and that they allowed me to join them. They've offered that rideshare opportunity in the past, as well as they've offered to pick things up for me and bring them back on their way. However, the item that I needed to pick up in town was a bit too cumbersome for them to do by themselves or even myself alone. So thank goodness they allowed me to go with them. And, I hope to be able to offer them the same in the future, whether they need a ride into town or they would like for me to pick something up for them while I'm there and bring it back. It's one of the nice things of living in a small community like this is that everybody is really neighborly. So far, fingers crossed it stays that way. So let's talk about why I did go into town. Beside me, you can see the countertop that I built earlier this summer. Unfortunately, there are some major flaws in my construction that I needed to resolve. The first one being the choice of lumber that I used to build it with. The main part of the countertop is actually made from structural lumber, while the face is dimensional lumber. Dimensional lumber is what you would typically use for joinery or making furniture. Structural lumber is, as it sounds, for building a structure. So the difference with the two is that because of the profile of dimensional lumber, it's meant so you can butt two pieces up against each other, put some biscuits in there that you can glue and secure that way and create a seamless gap between one or the other, right? No gaps, essentially. Joinery, furniture making. Where structural lumber, if you can see the profile, it has actually this rounded edge. And because this is typically not straight, it is either going to have a little bit of a warp to it or a twist to it. It really is not meant for furniture building. If you look at my countertop, you can see running down the length of it, there are seams that are visible. So I was on the hunt for a solution to correct my mistake. To be honest with you, I should have topped this off originally with dimensional lumber. However, since I didn't do that, I was actually considering filling those gaps with wood glue and sawdust mixed together and then putting that in and sanding it smooth to, give a seamless finish to the top. Well, to be honest with you, that wasn't really going to be an option either because I do plan on staining this and then sealing it with tung oil, and wood glue does not really accept stain. And even though the sawdust might accept the stain, it's going to typically turn out darker than the rest of the lumber. So to be honest with you, doing it the way I did it wasn't the right way to do it. And I didn't want to buy the dimensional lumber that it would take to do this, and the biscuit joiner, and then the clamps necessary to clamp this all together and create a new wood top for myself. Maybe this was still the right way to go, but it's not really what I wanted to do. So what am I going to do? Butcher block. But let's talk about the butcher block that's available. I bought mine from Home Depot, and the piece that I bought is actually 74 by 39 inches. But my countertop, believe it or not, is actually 98 inches by 32 inches. And so this, being 74, is not long enough. Being 39 is too wide. If I got one that was 98 inches, which they do sell, but however, it was only 25 inches deep, which meant that I would have had to buy an additional butcher block, and then I was still going to have to do some joinery. So that wasn't going to work for me. So I bought a piece that's really intended for an island. I'm still going to have to cut this, but I'm just going to use my circular saw with a brace on it and cut off 4 inches, put the cuttage against the backer here, and then that'll give me a 2.5 inch overhang on the front of my counter. And that should look like it's intended to look. It won't look like it was not done with purpose. So now you're probably thinking, Lauren, what are you going to do with the excess 2 feet of counter? This is why I'm encouraging you to follow your dreams, but think them through before leaping. Don't make my mistake of being so overzealous that you jump in with both feet and you haven't thought things through all the way, or don't cut corners like I do, because that's what this structural lumber was me cutting corners, and now I'm paying for it. I'm going to have a custom fabricated stone counter piece put in right here, this end of the countertop, just 2 feet by about 3 feet, covered in stone that will act as my drain board. What I'm looking for is something like this. Either, well, this is slate. I don't really want to do slate. So I've actually been in contact already with some stone fabricators here in Alaska, and have obtained a couple of quotes. Really what I'm looking for though is a piece of soapstone in a leather finish that I can just add to this piece right here and have it be the same height as the butcher block. So once this is all said and done, then it'll all tie in together. It'll look nice. It'll have the right overhang and everything to look like this was a custom made piece of art, essentially, in my opinion. I might do something over the backsplash and the sill, but one other thing that I'll be doing here in the kitchen is I'm actually going to be painting the plywood that's behind these shelves here and behind the shelves that surround the door leading into the pantry. And I'm going to be painting those in historic colors, like a matador red and a mustard yellow, to bring out some color here in the cabin. I know I had mentioned before that I really like the wood on wood look, but there's nothing wrong with adding a little accent to that as well. And that's what those colors are going to do for me. So right now, I'm encouraging anybody who's thinking about doing this same countertop to not follow my lead on this by doing it the wrong way. Instead, get yourself some dimensional lumber. Even if you're not doing some biscuit joinery, even if you just use some wood glue in here and, had some clamps on here to hold it all together and then was able to secure it to your countertop, it is going to be way cheaper to do that in the long run than it is to do it the way I did it. Unless you don't mind having these seams in your countertop. But I will tell you that those seams mean that crumbs are falling through and food is getting stuck in between those boards. And that is one of the things that I did not want to happen with my countertop. I want to avoid that. So the butcher block and the new stone piece are going to avoid that, because I'll just, add some caulking in between the two surfaces to remedy that situation. So my word of encouragement to everybody is to think things through and don't just jump in with both feet. Don't cut corners. Don't be a cheapskate. like this girl, sometimes my frugality bites me in the end. So I want to say thank you though to every one of you for watching this video, and a special thank you goes out to all of my members, past and to the new ones who have recently just joined. I really appreciate your support here on this channel. It is because of your support that I'm able to continue to make videos like this, and I'm actually going to start a new series here on the channel as well. It's going to give you a more in-depth look into my life here in the cabin. The videos that I put out at the end of the week are my main vlog videos, and those are highly edited. They take me a long time to produce. The new series is going to be called Alone Time, and it's going to be more of a personal conversation between me and you, where I might be answering some of your questions from the latest video, or just giving you a little bit more in-depth look into some of the topics from a recent video, or even just a personal conversation regarding what has been going on around the cabin in my last week. Because there's a lot of things that I don't put into my main vlog that I'm sure you guys would be interested in. So those videos will be a little less edited, but they'll give you a little bit more behind the scenes look as to what's happening here on the channel. So again, I want to thank everybody for watching today. I hope that you found this video entertaining, if nothing else, and that you'll remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. And I will see you again on the next one. Here are some outtakes, and also be sure to check out these other videos that are linked at the end of this video. Have a good day, take care, and as always, stay safe. Really thought I went ice climbing by myself? No, not this girl. What are you doing? All right, now to get down off of this mountain of ice. Throw myself a lifeline. Oh, that's not gonna go very far. All right, now to get down off this mountain of ice. Oh no, I lost my lifeline. You know what else I lost? I lost one of my cleats in the snow. I've got one cleat on and one cleat off.